Hey guys, what's up? A month ago I made a video talking a little bit about my training routine, and I had this comment asking me to talk a little bit more about the subject. And yes, as the comment says, on YouTube most of the time you're gonna be just seeing a bunch of scam artists. That's how I call them. It's just a bunch of people trying to sell you bullshit, trying to sell you like miracles, training programs or diet plans, or sometimes a bunch of useless supplements. And don't fall for that scam. That's my first advice for you. Most of the YouTube fitness is just completely bullshit. It's just a bunch of scam artists trying to take money out of people by selling crap that doesn't work, which can be training programs that are not very effective for most of the population, diet plans that are also garbage. They're just copy and paste stuff that they use, or they have like they copy and paste from online, and they just try to sell it as something new. These supplements are mostly garbage. Also, like they're all this stuff that the supplement industry talks about and tries to sell. It's just completely garbage. You don't need any of that stuff. There is not a single supplement that has been scientifically proven to actually improve hypertrophy by a lot. Creatine might improve performance, but like it doesn't affect that doesn't like equates to muscle gains. Like it's completely different. Like sometimes performance is one thing, hypertrophy is like this biological process that causes muscle gain. So it's just completely different. Anyway, don't fall for those guys. It's just like I have seen the YouTube fitness community grow ever since I was a teenager, ever since I was like starting to work out. So I saw the whole thing, I saw the whole process, all this stuff that people try to sell online, and it was very hard for me to filter all this information. As a teenager starting working out, I wanted to get gains, I wanted to have results, and I wasn't getting because like I don't know how the gyms are in US, but here in Brazil, you just go there, the instructor gives you a training program, which is a very cookie cutter hypertrophy plan, whatever, and you just try to do it. And most people that follow that shit don't really get much results. Most people at the gym, they don't really look like they lift at all here. I mean, that's just how gyms in most places are. It's almost like most gyms are like Planet Fitness, but without the crazy rules. But anyway, I wanted to get results, so just people that I had like that are new from the gym weren't really helping me. Sure, there are guys there that were like bodybuilders, a few of them were like into that, and they used gear, but I didn't want to use gear as a teenager, especially, even now, like I still don't have plans to using that. So I didn't want to take anything. I just wanted to make gains by working out, and the training routines that those guys told me to use it weren't working for me, but they had gains. Why? Because they used drugs. And it's the same thing with most of the fitness YouTubers, influencers. Most of them, I would say like 90% of them for sure, they are just using a lot of drugs. That's most of why their bodies look like that. That's pretty much it. Like that's why if you try to follow their programs, their training programs, if you try to pay for that or just copy their workout, you're probably not gonna look like them, because that's not what is making their bodies look like that. That's not really effective training program that I like from what I see online from most guys. It's not gonna be effective for like natural lifters at all. Like you might make some noob gains because when you're started working out and you don't have much muscle mass, it's very easy for you to gain, but it's not gonna be very effective in the long term. So most of those times, or most of those guys on YouTube, they're just using a shitload of drugs, or they just have very good genetics. Or sometimes it's a combination of both. You might say, oh, but this guy is not even that big, he looks natural. Sometimes there are many guys, like I have seen like at gyms, I have been through 3 gyms ever since I started working out. And sometimes there are guys that they look natural, they're not even that big, but they still are on drugs. Like you guys would be surprised about how average looking some guys are that are like using gear, that are using anabolic steroids. And sometimes it's just like a very fast transformation. The guy is not even that big, but he just made some gains like in a very short amount of time. Sure, he could have made some gains naturally in more time, but it would like take more time for him to make those. So it's just like most time that you see, most of the stuff that you see on YouTube fitness is just bullshit. Like everything from training to dieting, everything that the guys try to show you there is just an illusion to try to make money. They just try to, it's really not effective, because I try a lot of stuff that I saw online, a lot of training programs, dieting that I see not only from YouTube fitness influencers, but also for like other like people that are like famous in my country, like some bodybuilders who are famous here in Brazil, and it didn't work out because they're not effective. They're not effective in training programs. It's not a very effective dieting. A lot of stuff that they try to preach is not very effective. I don't even know if they really believe that is effective or not, or they just try to make dieting and training very complex to try to make it take away the focus on the drug usage that there is in fitness. But overall, it's just completely bullshit, most of the information that you're gonna be seeing there. And I was kind of like a victim with, because when I started working out, I kind of lost a lot of years trying to replicate stuff that I heard online that I should do in order to get more results. I never got like any injuries or anything that would like threaten me, but like some stuff I just feel like it was a complete waste of time, and it's just like this misinformation just kind of just gets in your way. So it was very hard for me to filter. So right now, like I can see right away if one guy is just trying to sell bullshit or not. I don't even follow any others, like anyone that talks about fitness on YouTube. I just don't follow it because it's just so common. People trying to sell you bullshit there. That like for me, it's just like, why would I waste my time? And I pretty much like through trial and error of working out, I already know what can work for me or not, in regards to like what should I eat for gains, how I should train for more gains, like all this kind of stuff. Like I already know what I have to do in order to get results. Like I don't need to like have anyone to tell me. Like there's no much more information that can really help me online. There are like some good fitness YouTube channels that are actually good, and I could like after filtering like 100 YouTube channels that are completely garbage, I was able to find a few that had some good information. But what would be that good information? What would I advise for someone that is trying to work out now, start training? Like in the comment there, you just want to level up, not something that like for someone that wants to compete, just want to like level up a little bit and just improve your body. Just focus on the most basic compound movements and try to do them as often as possible. I wouldn't recommend like do the same exercise like 2 days in a row. Like usually like you want to have like, you can either have like do like a full body routine 3 times per week, or you might be able to do like an upper body split, which you can like do like might be able to do like have like 4 workout days or 6. Like you're gonna repeat the upper lower body split 2 or 3 times per week. It just depends. There are some factors that, but I would recommend just trying out this kind of stuff that I'm gonna mention here. Just focus on the most basic compound exercises and try to progress overload them. Just maybe increase the weight. And I'm talking about compound movements by exercises that involve a barbell or body weight, which is gonna be like probably stuff that everybody knows, like squats, deadlifts, rows, bench press. For body weight, it's gonna be pull-ups, dips, chin-ups. Those exercises are pretty much like all you need. Maybe you might do something for the calves. I mean, if you want, But those exercises are the most important things that you can do in order to make more gains. Just focus on those exercises, and that would be like the most simple advice. You might say, oh, but I saw a lot of YouTubers making like, they make like this training. I want to get my biceps bigger. So I saw this YouTube that he has a really big biceps, and he makes this arm day, and he just does like 4 exercises for the biceps, 4 exercises for the triceps. Okay, first off, that guy is probably using drugs. That's why his arms look like that. It's not because, of his training routine. If you try to follow his training routine, this thing about the arm day, most guys, the average guy with the average genetics, also genetics is a very important thing. Sometimes this guy, he might not even like be on gear or might not even be using that much drugs, but sometimes he's just a guy that was born lucky with very good genetics for the arms. Some people just have very good genetics for specific body parts, and that is just a little bit about bone structure and muscle point insertions, the muscle belly. It just like inserted in a way that just gives the muscle overall better shape. Just the look of the muscle just looks fuller and better, and it just has like more potential for growth than like for most people, in case like the average guy that is watching those guys on YouTube. That's why his arms look like that. Sometimes when you have very good genetics for a specific muscle group, it's gonna grow from any bullshit that you do, But for the average guy, it's probably not gonna work. Like you need something that is actually effective, something that is actually very good to grow your arms, And what I would recommend, like if you want to increase the size of your arms, like it is not gonna be something that it's gonna improve like your whole upper body. Just focus on chin-ups and dips. You try to just progress on those. Try to make those like 10 chin-ups, 10 dips just with your body weight, and try to increase body weight. Like you can have like, there's this belt which you can put. You can just buy it online. Most gyms don't have it. Like here in Brazil, no gym has it. I had to buy it myself. But you just have this belt which you can put weights, you can put plates, you can just add more weight to your body, and you just try to put more over time and just progress overload on those exercises. Like the best way for you to grow your arms is not even doing exercises specifics for the biceps or the triceps. You just do chin-ups and dips. They both work the biceps and triceps, but they're also going to be working your back, your shoulders, your chest. They work everything, So for any advice for anyone that wants to improve your body and you don't have much time to go to the gym, you don't have like time to spend a lot of time, and you cannot go to the gym every day. Just every time you go to the gym, just focus on the most basic exercises. If you're like one training program that is considered to be very good for beginners is Starting Strength by Mark Ripoto. He's an old guy. There's a lot of memes about the guy, but his training routine is actually very good. It's pretty much like a full body routine in which you're gonna go to the gym, you're gonna do squats, rows, bench press. I think you deadlift only 1 day per week because deadlift it's kind of like a heavier exercise for your nervous system. But overall, that's kind of my advice. Like, don't follow people that are trying to sell you bullshit. They're trying to sell you miracles. That they are saying like they have like this unique or this special thing that if you guys buy it, if you guys give your money to them, it's gonna help you get more results, because it's probably bullshit. Because the stuff that actually works is just the same stuff that already worked like over 100 years ago. But people are not gonna say it, because if you knew like that this stuff is the most effective way to gain muscle naturally, like there's nothing to sell, there's no money to take from people there. The fitness industry would kind of collapse. Like if everybody just stop buying the supplements, or stop it just hiring personal trainers, or just buying all this stuff online, and just go to the gym and just focus on trying to get as strong as possible on squats, bench, deadlifts, rows, chin-ups, dips. Like if people just focus on that, they would just already get as much gains they can possibly can naturally, and they wouldn't like waste any money on the fitness industry, or any YouTube fitness influencers or whatever. Like you just need to focus on the basics, because this kind of stuff that I'm talking about, bodybuilders from like the 20s and 30s, before anabolic steroids were a thing, before the fitness industry existed, we were just guys that would just go to the gym to work out. This stuff already worked. The guys were already making gains over 100 years ago, just by training, by doing the most basic exercises using barbells. And that's pretty much it. Like in regards to like dieting, what should you do? It's very simple. You just need to eat. If you want to gain muscle mass, you need to have more calories. In order to gain more weight, you need to eat more. If you're training, you sleep. Everything is going okay, your training is doing well, you're progressing on the exercises, you're sleeping well, you just need to eat more in order to gain muscle mass. You just need to eat more calories and eat like, I think in pounds, like one gram of protein per pound of body weight. Like you probably, most of people probably already eating enough protein. Like you don't need that much, like, because the supplement industry and those guys, they want to sell you whey protein. They're trying to sell you supplements. They're gonna say that you need more protein that you actually need, because they want to try to sell you stuff. But I think most people are already eating enough protein. Like you don't need that much. Like eating more in bodybuilding, in like if you want in hypertrophy, more is not always better, because hypertrophy is not like performance. It's not like, oh sure, if you want to get better at playing soccer, more practice might make you better, because you're practicing more. But hypertrophy is not just about it's not something that you can just get it by. It's not like a skill, it's a biological process in which you kind of manipulate your body into doing, because your body doesn't really want to gain a lot of muscle mass, you kind of have to force it by just touching the variables of training and whatever. But this stuff is overall simple. Like training and trying to gain as much muscle mass as you naturally can is much more simple than people think. Like it can be done just by focus on the most basic exercises. Like that would be what I recommend. That's what I wish I had done back then, because when I started training, should I had bench press, but I didn't put squats. I remember like when my first time at the gym, I was doing pull-ups, because I started doing those at home like many years ago. I think I put bench press on my training routine, but everything else I think was machine. Like my leg training was just machines, it was just leg press. I think I was the one that had to ask the instructor as a teenager to include the barbell squat on my training routine, because I had seen online that was good, but because most people don't do that. Like at my gym, like I'm one of the few guys that do barbell squat. Like most people that train legs, they just do leg press, or they just gonna leg extensions, leg curls. It's just very rare, because those exercises, those compound movements, they are hard. In theory, it's very simple. Like you just focus on the most basic exercises, and you just try to increase the weight on it. But those exercises are hard to do. Like it's hard to squat. Like a squat is not for everyone. It can be a very demanding exercise. I mean, for me it's fine. Like I'm used to it. But for a lot of people, like people just can't squat. Most people don't want to squat. But that's what I would recommend. You don't have to stay like 2 hours at the gym. You can just work out for like sometimes 30 minutes. Like how much? It just depends a lot on the kind of training routine that you have. But you don't need to have to spend that much time. You just have to go there, focus on like an upper body routine that you could do, You just go to the gym. Like if you want to train in a very minimalist way, just not if you want to focus, let's say, upper body, you just go to the gym. You're gonna do 3 sets of dips, 3 sets of chin-ups, and that's pretty good actually. You might want to include like bench press or like a barbell row variation. That can also be a very good option. So you kind of only need 4 exercises, and you don't need to actually do those 4 exercises in the single day. You could like one day you do chin-ups and dips, the other upper body training day, you're gonna do bench press and barbell row, or you can even do like a cable. There are certain machines that can be very effective. It just depends on the exercise. I think for rows, I think some cables rows are okay. For bench press, I don't really like using machines for chest, but that's just me. It just depends on the situation. But you don't need to actually spend that much time at the gym. Sometimes like very brief workouts can be very effective as long as the intensity is good. That's what it comes down to. If you want to save time at the gym, if you don't want to spend much time at the gym, you're gonna have to compensate the lack of time by having higher quality sets. Like the sets that you're gonna be doing at the gym have to be very high intensity. You're gonna be reaching very close to failure. But that's pretty much it. Just don't spend money on like people that try to sell you like magic pills online. If you want to get like crazy results, like like anabolic steroids, like level results, you're gonna have to take anabolic steroids because there's no comparison. There is no training routine. There is no supplement that is gonna give you the same amount of results that taking like half a gram of testosterone per week is gonna give it to you. There is no comparison ever. So like if you want crazy results, you're gonna have to actually just inject testosterone on yourself. But for training, as far as training goes, just this kind of stuff that I mentioned is gonna be enough. Like for the average guy that just want to level up, you just do the basic exercises, progress, overload on them, eat more calories, and you're gonna gain weight. If you want to lose body fat, if you want to get shredded, I usually recommend doing those things separately. First, you focus on gaining muscle mass. You bulk. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm eating more. I'm trying to bulk right now. And after you reach a certain size that you want, you have progress enough in the exercises, or you reach a certain body weight, then you cut down. And to cut down is very simple. Again, like you just have to eat in the same way that you have to eat more to gain weight. To lose weight, you just have to eat less. And the more weight you lose, the less you're gonna have to keep eating. You're gonna increase your food over time. It's just about caloric deficit. But usually cutting is very simple. You just have to keep eating less, and over time you're gonna have to decrease even more and more and more the amount of food intake that you have through the days. And that's pretty much it. And you literally, if you just keep that up, most people we're gonna say, "Oh, this stuff that you're talking about seems so simple." It is simple in theory, but in practice, a lot of people are not gonna be able to take it. Like if you stay in a caloric deficit, at one point you're gonna break. Like you want to get out of it. You won't be able to keep that up for a long time, because if you stay consistently, like every single day, you're gonna stay like in a 500 caloric deficit. If you stay from that like for like 4 or 5 months straight, you're gonna get ripped. And you're gonna keep losing more and more. You're gonna keep getting more and more ripped. Your body fat's gonna keep decreasing. And at one point, it's gonna start bothering you. You're gonna start to feel very hungry. You're gonna start like your body is gonna kind of start like, can we eat more? Because you're not happy with the amount of calories. But that's pretty much it. Like I have done cuts before. Like I have cut it down, like lost a lot of body fat, and it's pretty much just about controlling the amount of calories that you eat through the day. It's just pretty much it. As far, you just have to do more cardio, of course, if you want to like spend more calories. That's something that you can also do. And as far as the training, you don't change really anything. Like you might want to maybe decrease the volume, the amount of sets or workouts per week while you're doing a cut, because you won't have as much energy as you're gonna be eating less carbs, you know. But the amount of exercise, I mean, the types of exercise that you should be doing in a cut are the same one as in a bulk. Just do the most basic compound exercises, and that's it. Like this kind of stuff worked over 100 years ago, and it's still gonna be working now.